Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike. It is Friday. Thank God it's Friday, the 22nd of April. This is our weekly setup. If you want to learn more about us or join us, come over to smartoptiontrading.com, link in the description below in the video. What can I say about this week? Well, it's been a very tough, difficult week with a massive change in character in this market. Starting off here, if you look here, the high of the year was on the first trading of the year on January 4th. We had this pop up and we rolled over. And really what we're looking at right now here with about 18 minutes to go into the close is our biggest 2-day down move in the market this year. We're trying to push back to that 432 area, which has been a huge level, but we've had a change in character. And by a change in character, what I mean here is that the names that were strong, the inflation trades have suddenly started selling off, and the market doesn't seem to be interested in trying to hold the levels that it previously was holding. And this could be that the big fund managers have sold enough and hedged enough that they're comfortable now with letting the market go. So what's happening next week is next week we go into one of the biggest tech earnings weeks of the quarter. Probably is the biggest tech earnings week. We have Apple and Amazon and Google's in there and Microsoft, Intel is in there to name just a few, right? And these names and Facebook are all going to decide the fate of the Qs in this market. This week we had earnings from names like Nucor and STLD and FCX, and guys, help me out here. We had CVX, we had Rails in there, we had a little bit of everything in there, and they were very mixed earnings. And you're seeing some profit taking in these commodities. So the SPY here, to me, under 432, it's vulnerable. I would say 420, then 415, and then eventually 410 would be the next levels if we want to keep going. That said, we are extended to the downside. We are well below the 8-day moving average by 10 handles. So this is not the place to come short. The best setup for us into next week would be a close on the lows, a gap down, and find buyers like here, right? These are the type of setups we love, like here, the start of the war, gap down and screaming buying coming into the market. So when I'm talking to you about what's going on in this market, sometimes you have to back up and say, well, what do you mean? Well, we have a 1-year chart here. The VIX is starting to wake up. Forget Zoom. Nobody cares about Zoom. The VIX woke up today in a major way. By the way, posted early, even put it out publicly. UVXY 1350 calls being bought early on the open. What else do we have going on here? We have names like Mosaic, which have been leading this market. Hard break all the way down under the 21-day. FCX getting mangled. Alcoa getting mangled. Cliff also good earnings report, guidance getting mangled. The energy names pulling back under the 21-day. We've had weakness there. The financials also showing weakness into this market, getting beaten up, right? So these were all holding us up. The big pharmaceuticals, J&J is holding it okay. Lilly been pulling back now for the last 2 weeks. BMY, which put a new all-time high in yesterday, back under the 21-day. The big box retailers, which led part of this week. Look at Costco, clean break of the 21-day here. Walmart pulling back to the 8-day. Target, which has been running hard, pulling back. So you have a lot of names like this that are weak, and then you have tech, which has just been atrocious. Facebook, new multi-year low, breaking below the range here. Apple, which has been trying to be stronger, weakening under all the moving averages but the 200-day. Google, which has a 20-for-1 stock split coming up, is going to be worth about $140 a share, $120 if this keeps up the way we're going here. Break the 2,500 level, clean break of that. AMD, we talked about breaking 100 2 weeks ago. It's broken 90 now. NVIDIA, 210 was supposed to be a big level. It shattered through that this week and below it. So the market is saying here that it's worried and it's nervous. Now, the good news is next week we should get no Fed speak. We have the Fed meeting on the first Wednesday in May. I think that's the 3rd. And in the meantime, there should be no Fed speak coming up here in the near future, and maybe the market finds some relief. It really depends upon how good and guidance is on these big names and whether or not it matters. And what I mean by that is, we talk about this in the room, and we talk about things like this all the time. Microsoft has beat and guided up every quarter now for a long time, and it just hasn't mattered lately. And that's a big worry. And the big worry here is that maybe P&Es have just gotten way, way too far out of line here, and that, they're looking to bring them back into reality. So with that said, guys, I wish you a good weekend. I'm going to do some charts for you guys tomorrow. I'll post them on Twitter for you. And, we'll see what next week brings us. I do think that this market here, though, honestly, at the end of the day, is starting to show some real signs of weakness, and that maybe we're finally going to give up the ghost here. And meaning if the ghost come down, retest this 410 area before we find some strength, or maybe even lower. We'll see what we get. All right, everybody have a great one. I'll catch you live on Monday morning in the room. If you're joining us, we'd love to have you.